Hi.
Andrew.
Thanks for doing this with me. This is Andrew,
And I'm Destiny from Heart and Hearth Healing.
and last summer at this amazing, beloved music festival, we taught a workshop at the Red Tent and got so many requests to film it so people could remember what this was that was so helpful if you get stuck in a relationship moment.
Yes, so we call it a mini bubble. And this is if there's like a triggered moment that happened, but you're not still triggered, or something tender that's alive for you that you want to share with your beloved or with a friend that would be close and willing to do this practice. So we're going to go through each step of the process, and hopefully you'll be able to use this tool when you need it.
So, step one is, why are we doing this? It is crucial that the intention is to have connection, and it's not to get your point across. It's not to convince my partner to see my point of view or to even admit fault or say sorry or any of that. It's for connection.
Yeah, then that is really important that you're like, no, I have to bubble right now, right this minute. But why? Why does there need to be that urgency? If you're having that urgency, you probably need to connect with yourself first, and then when you feel more stable and connected to your breath, then you can meet your partner in this way.
So let's imagine we've done that part, and now we are ready
Now we're sitting down.
to meet in this way.
Hi, I'm ready to meet you in this way.
Oh, good.
I have the baby because he won't take a nap, so we're gonna have to do our best.
Well, that sounds great. He's welcome anywhere with what we're doing. And what we'll do is we'll set the space, which means sometimes we light a little incense and ring a bell and then sit down and greet each other with our eyes. And then decide, how long should we do this for?
I think let's plan on 12 minutes.
Perfect.
We'll do like I'll share 3 minutes, and you can reflect for 1 minute, and then you share for 3 minutes, and I'll reflect for 1 minute, and that's 8 minutes there. And let's just see how it goes.
Then we'll do another round and see if we're done around. But we can perhaps finish at 12. So that sets a beautiful space, and now the partners hopefully feel safety.
And that is really important for creating the container, is because someone can go on and on and on and on and on.
And these aren't imaginary minutes. This is with your phone to the minute, and when it's time to shift, you shift.
Ding!
And so then we'll actually begin the practice.
The bubble. And it's really nice to imagine to begin that you're both in your own bubble. You're meeting as sovereign beings that are choosing to come back into connection and harmony.
With your autonomous bubble meeting at the other person.
You can even imagine a bigger bubble surrounding your two bubbles.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to begin by taking out what is not necessary.
Yeah. So I'm going to take out my fear of being judged. And I'm going to take out my distraction of the baby.
I'll take out blame and the needing to be right. Righteousness is always a big one for me. And then excessive neediness. I don't need much other than to just be heard, which is why we're doing this listening practice.
Taking out expectations, taking out
nervousness.
Yeah, nervousness.
Okay, so then we go straight to calling in. Well, what are we bringing in? Trust.
And you just imagine that's filling your bubble. I'm calling in the presence of Creator, of Mother, of everything, that Mother Earth.
I'm calling in the focus that the listening heart offers presence, compassion.
I'm calling in possibility of connection.
Great. And so then we state aloud, the intention is for connection.
My intention is for connection and for harmony and for creating even more trust in a relationship.
Oh, so it is. Then we set our timer.
Set the
So,
timer. You might take another breath to ground yourself.
all right. So 2 minutes. Here we go.
There we
And would you like to share first?
go. No, I'd like for you to share first.
Okay. So then I begin the sharing, and this is as much as possible feeling embodied states. I felt totally exasperated, and if I only mention destiny if it's in context, because she might not know what I'm talking about unless I say, hey, when we got out of the car, when we got home, you said some things, and then I felt, and I wondered about, and then I got defensive, and I did this pattern thing, like I went to whatever it is.
Ding,
And
ding,
so
ding.
that's all about me. And then, oh, wow, that was quick, but thank you.
I heard you say that.
So now she's going to mirror back.
Mirror back
And
what
it's-
he said.
I heard you say A, B, C, and D.
I heard you say that when we got out of the car, you felt exasperated because I said some things that didn't feel kind to you, and and then you felt angry and you went into one of your pattern responses. Did I say everything? Did I?
Yes.
Did I
I
understand
didn't
you?
actually say I was angry, but now that you mention it, I think I probably was, and that's why I had that patterned response. Myself, yeah, my defeating pattern. So I named that, and that's me getting vulnerable. Is to add that part. It's like, well, she's really listening, and I trust that she can hear that instead of being ashamed of it or scared of it. And so, wow, thank you. Yeah, you got that.
Oh, good. Is it good for me to share now, or do you
So
need to
yeah,
say
let's
anything
just
else?
have a breath.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
2 minutes.
Go. Gosh, well, I was feeling really tired in that moment, and I'm sorry. I felt really tired and overwhelmed, and I actually just needed to come and take a nap. And instead, I said some things that weren't kind, and I feel really sad that you responded from your triggered place, and that felt hurtful to me, and feels a little tender right now to share that hurt. Yeah, and but I'm also feeling grateful that to be able to say it and be held in this way.
Wow. Would you like me to reflect that?
Yeah, I can reflect that.
Yeah, well, I reflect that when you got out, you were tired, and that you just needed some space, and that you actually got triggered, and when you saw me react from my defensive place, and you said words that weren't kind, and that you felt sorry for it now.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty good. Let me just make sure that that's everything. Yeah, I felt hurt. I didn't hear you reflect that. I felt
Yeah,
hurt from and disappointed from me getting into such a triggered place.
You felt hurt from seeing me in that state and
Yeah.
things I said or did.
And I was having expectations of you, so I felt my own disappointment, and I feel like I can see now like how that disappointment then spirals me down. Like I start painting this picture of you.
Oh. Oh, thanks for naming that.
And so this might go on for quite a few rounds. It'd be like, okay.
The first two, we said 2 minutes because the first 2 rounds, you're just opening up a world, and you want to just touch the essence. But 2 minutes requires you to boil it down, and that's really helpful because the other person has however much capacity to hear it, to reflect it, and then the rounds can go deeper and longer, or keeping him at 2 or 3 minutes and doing a few so that you can feel the change that starts to happen, because suddenly I'm feeling all this love and awesomeness, and my next round might just be gushing appreciation and
We
totally
might be
get
like,
you.
okay, we're here now. We're connected. That's
This is
why
awesome.
we bubbled. We didn't bubble to now like peel the whole thing apart to
Yeah.
go into a huge process. We said we want connection and harmony.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. Now we're going to celebrate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And some of that sharing might involve then, let's just trade foot rubs for 3 minutes. Like now we have this whole yummy possibility of intimacy being through touch, eyes, or more deeper heartfelt sharing or prizing and praising is always good to get in the mix at this point. And if you do close with gratitudes for the person showing up, for being available,
Thank
for
you so
anything
much
specific.
thank you for calling this bubble. And I really don't want to do them every time. It's really hard. I feel like my ego really pushing against it, but I'm so grateful because I value our relationship so much.
I'm so grateful you have the willingness to step into that edginess of showing up for that time and whatever comes up in it. And that's where I feel the hearth grow so warm.
You're so brave.
Oh, yeah. You know my love language. And you are dedicated. You are. Thank you for your dedication to this, stoking this fire.
This hearth.
Yeah.
So I hope this is helpful for you today. And just like I said, there might be resistance because it's scary to, like, it brings up so much. Like, am I going to be loved if I share vulnerably? And am I going to make this situation worse? And so just knowing that it takes courage and honoring yourself and your partner for the courage of sitting down together.
Yes, and don't wait for triggers to do this
Right,
practice. Just sometimes I call them because we have children, a big and a little one, and when the bigger one is very busy, and those times are amazing because we're already starting from a good place and it just goes huge and beautiful. Or there's something somebody didn't even know that they had nothing to do with me, but suddenly she's like, "Yeah, I read this email that totally frustrated me. I didn't tell you about it." And she can have it like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know I wanted to share that." So
Totally.
and that way, especially for your first one, it's good to practice the form, so that if you do come and you've had a trigger, that you know that the form works, and that's why we're sharing you because it always works to have this specificity of time and partnership because it's hard to get lost when you have a timer.
And keep it simple. That's why it's called a mini bubble. It's mini.
Right. 12 to 40 minutes.
We'll go through those steps one more time. Step 1, you're connected. You both are in a relatively centered place. Step 2, you sit together, you take out of the field anything, any fears.
Call in what's going to be helpful.
That's step 3. Step 4 is you state out loud, my intention.
Step 5 is one shares, the other is silent, listening.
No interrupter.
And then you mirror what you heard, if by request, which is really good to do, but sometimes it's like,
No, I got that.
You got it. Let's move on.
Your turn.
That's great.
And so other person turn, and final step, gratitude.
We often do 3 rounds, 2 to 5 minutes after the first 2-minute round. It's really good to bounce off, but you can do it 1 round. Thank you.
And if you want any extra support, then reach out to us. This guy. Yeah.
This is my great joy when it gets
heated.
really sticky and you need so much more than a bubble and need a third party, which keeps it really clean.
And that can be in person here in Ashland or anywhere in the world via Zoom. And thank you and good luck. And we would not be married if we haven't had support of awesome counseling. So
thank you for getting through.